Hey guys, the boy here from Tennis House. You want a stronger forehand? I'll walk you through 6 simple steps to help you add more power and control to your shot. These techniques are easy to follow and make a big difference on the court. Let's get started and level up your forehand. Coil in the upper body, very crucial for a powerful forehand. Here the reverse C motion, instead of just dropping the racket on a take back, the contact which has to be in front of the player in order to create a lot of power, and then the follow through with getting all the body weight into the shot. All right, let's start with the first segment. In my eyes, one of the most important is that coil in the upper body. So you see a lot of pro players and a lot of players at the higher level to coil their upper body. And why they do that is, if they coil their upper body, they pre-stretch the muscles in the back. And when they uncoil, they're able to create a lot of racket head speed and a lot of power. So on the recreational level, what you see is that the players stick the racket out and they hit the ball like this. So that's not going to give you any power, and you're not using your resources, your body, and all the parts of it in the correct manner. So make sure that your offhand, if you're a right hand, that your offhand is your left hand, that hand helps you to get the racket head in the right position. So left hand manipulates the racket head and the strings point to the crowd. I call that to the crowd. So now you have a really good pre-stretch in the back muscles, and when the ball comes, you can shift your weight in and you can release and hit that ball nice and clear. And if the ball comes, I demo you, turn, and then you just let go. And that's easy power you can create there. You turn and you just let go. All right, the second segment that's very important in order to create good power on the forehand side is when you turn, that you draw that reverse C motion. There are many recreational players that drop the racket straight down and they try to hit that ball. So first of all, you can't control the ball really good, and you start from, I call that, from a 0 acceleration, and you try to go to 100. All right, the good way to create power is to draw that reverse C motion, and then when the racket starts to go down here, and that phase that you guide the racket down and accelerate forward. So adding that tiny loop mechanism here will give you a lot of easy power. Here and go. So that was the first 2 things on the forehand side that you can improve or that you need to work on in order to create more power. The third segment, we just talked about the offhand staying longer on, drawing the reverse C motion, and now you cannot get the racket in the right position if you squeeze the racket too tight. So the grip tension and how much you squeeze that racket are very important. That in this phase right here, when you bend the knees and the racket goes down, that you're not stiff here. If you stiff here, you're going to lead with the elbow and hit something like this. Many players at the beginner level are stiff and they hit like this because they're not able to get the racket head underneath the ball. So in order to get the racket head underneath the ball, you need to make sure when you're in this phase that you don't squeeze too tight. You let the racket drop here, nice and smooth, so the racket can get under that ball, and then the hip snap. Then you go out and hit it. Crucial, many players mess up in that phase. The next important segment on the forehand is the weight shift. Many recreational players, when the ball comes, they're hitting out of the upper body. So there's no actual weight shift. The ball comes and they're kind of off balance and just hit that ball. You cannot create a lot of power like that. So you need to make sure that you shift the weight when you turn. So you split your turn, you shift the weight from the right leg to the left leg, and then you accelerate through. That weight shift is crucial. And even when you open stance, you load the outside leg, that you shift your weight into the shot. So you have different stances, and for demonstration purposes, we're working on that close stance. When I demo right here now, I need to make sure to split, you turn, and you go from the right to the left leg, and you go in there. And you go shift from the right to the left leg, and you go in there. So very important that that weight shift into the ball. And as I said, on the open stance, the same story. You load the outside leg, you try to shift your weight a little bit inside the court. That will enable a little bit more extra power and actually a little bit more extra control as well. The next segment in the chain is the contact point. The contact point, obviously the grip will determine what contact point you're going to have. If you have a Western grip, your contact point will be a little bit closer to you. And if you have like a strong Eastern, it will be more out. So in order to hit the ball faster on the forehand side, you need to have the contact in front. A lot of times players hit that ball like this on a recreational level. They get too close and leave the racket behind. So you're going to see the contact point is way behind them. So if you're one of the players that do that, you need to make sure that the contact is in front of you. And no matter which grip you have, it's a little bit in front of you. It's never behind you or on the side of you. That's not going to be good for your shoulder, and you need to make sure that the point of contact is in front. So here we go. Turn early, and you hit it in front. Turn early, and the contact is in front. We're doing semi-Western right now, here, and it's still in front of me. So it doesn't matter which grip you hold, the contact will be in front of you. So that's the next checkpoint on the segment that you can control and compare yourself to. Ideally, record a video and see what you do. If you feel like the contact point is too close, make sure it's in front, so every segment of the kinetic chains can be transferred into the racket. And the last part, in order to have a really fast, easy, flawless, powerful forehand, is the finish. So when you have a good finish right here, the butt cap kind of points forward. When you're done with the shot, it's a great indicator. If you really finish through, butt cap points forward. So a lot of players, again, on the recreational level, when they hit, they don't go all the way. They can even go finish here and then freeze here, but the ball's going to go up on the forehand. They can't create power. You need to close it out so the bottom kind of points forward when you're done. So if it comes, you go and you hit it. So it points forward. And again, you prepare, shift the weight in, and the bottom points forward. That gives you power and control on the forehand. Very important when you want to create a forehand that's flawless and powerful. So those six things we went through are crucial. And when you see players where you think like, how can they hit the ball so hard? They are so skinny and so short. Even kids that hit the ball hard. It's not about muscling the ball. It's about the segments you put together, the sequence of the shot. So if every segment is put correctly together, you can create a lot of power. If one segment is off, you're going to lose that power. And that's the biggest problem. And don't get any illusions. You want to work on things, you go once a week out and want to try to improve to hit the ball faster, that ain't going to work. You need to make sure you have a consistent schedule, let's say 3 times a week, and you keep those 3 times a week over a long period of time. That's the only way for you to improve, to hit the ball a little bit faster and getting those segments in the right order. If you think you can play once a week and get the ball faster or hit the ball faster, most probably that will not work. Yeah, sorry for those bad news. You have to put the work in, obviously. So yeah, so if you liked the video, that would make me really happy, because I work with a lot of recreational and beginner intermediate player, and most of the struggles are those 6 things that I just tried to explain in the video that the players are doing wrong. So if you can work on those segments, pick the segments the way you want, and yeah, if you can practice those, you should see a great result